Okay, so here's what we're going to be doing on this training. Let me just outline it for anyone that joined after I said it the first time. I'm going to be doing an overview of Deal Sniper. I'm going to step by step do an entire offer. And then if you guys have any questions, either interrupt me if you're lost or hold it to the end of that. I'll ask who's got questions. Then we're going to move to the deal machine calculator. If someone's got a deal that they want me to underwrite, I'll do it. If not, I'll do a complete overview of the calculator. And then I'll answer any questions about seller financing, creative financing, subject to hybrids, whatever. After that, I will go into the best markets to acquire leads and how to do it most cost effective, especially if you're not using Deal Sniper. And then after that, we'll do an open forum Q&A, meaning anything that I didn't cover or any questions that you have that doesn't pertain to what I've gone over, just throw them at me. We'll be on the training until no one has any more questions. Typically, these last, an hour? Ron, you've been on a few of them, hour and a half, 2 hours, I think it's the longest one we've done. If it needs to go 3, it'll go 3. It doesn't matter to me. So I just want to get you guys some help. So first and foremost, before I forget, Romney had a great question. Ask me that question again now that we're recording.
So how do you deal with Dispo for packages? So like I told you, I had a realtor who he has a seller who wants to sell his entire rental portfolio. So I generated offers for each one. Would you sell them as a package to an interested investor, or would you sell them one by one?
So that's a good question. I don't get that one. I've never gotten that one before, not from someone that wasn't on my team. So that's good. Ideally, we want to have each one on its own contract. And we want to sell them out one at a time, or at least have the option to. And here's why. It's the same reason why I suggest that you guys, when you're going through Deal Sniper and you're picking your market and you're picking your properties, don't pick properties over 350,000. It's not because it can't be done. Hell, one guy on my team, he just brought me one. It was $1.2 million. It was a portfolio. It had 12 properties in it. $1.2 million. But on the disposition side, having a buyer that has 10% plus closing costs plus your assignment fee on a $1.2 million property or a portfolio, you have to find a buyer that's got about $150,000 liquid cash. That's harder to find. They exist. They're out there, and there's lots out there. I don't want to make it seem like it's scarce. There's a lot out there. But you're going to have so many more who can do 10% of a $350,000 property. Because now we're only talking like 40 grand. That's a lot easier. So that's why we want to be able to piece them out, because I would much rather sell, what did you say, 10? It's got 10 properties?
That's correct.
Yeah, I would much rather find 10 buyers and make sure that we sell all of those than have to hunt for one buyer that's got a $150,000 liquid and that also wants these properties. So I would get them, and I'm gonna tell you right now, is Leo on here? I don't know if he's on here. One of the ones that we just did for him, it had 27 properties in it. Yes, 27 7-page contracts that we had to do, but it's worth it on the Dispo side, because look at the upside. Yeah, it took me like 2 hours to do all those, but if he gets them all sold, I think we built in like $7,000 per deal. So yeah, that's fine. We'll do the work.
So in regard to the closing period for a rental package, obviously you're going to sell them out, and you're going to treat them like individual. Do you think we should make the inspection period longer or closing longer, or is it fine at the 30 days?
What I would tell the real estate agent is, look, we typically want about a 14 business day inspection so that we can do our due diligence on the buyers that we're bringing to this deal, because we don't want to waste anyone's time. Since your client has so many properties, not that we can't handle it, but we probably like to get a 21-day inspection period. We can still do a 35 to 45-day closing, because these are all going to be created, right?
I'm writing them as we're speaking right now, Attorney.
Okay, show off. Anyway, yeah, we can still do a 30 to 45-day closing. And again, we can do the closing on or before. When you guys are doing your contracts and it says the closing date, put on or before in front of the closing date. That way, it's okay if you give yourself 35, 40 days to close because it's on or before. And if the realtor asks, hey, why is such a long closing? Hey, look, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. I'd rather just take it now. And if we can close sooner with our buyer, we will. But if we need more time for them to secure their funds or whatever, I don't want to have to keep sending you amendment after amendment, changing the time. I'd rather just do it now. And then if we can close sooner, we'll close sooner. We all want to get paid as fast as possible. I'm just trying to make sure we do this as smooth as possible. That's your response. And any realtor that's got an issue with that, probably a red flag. You can still work with them, just have your guard up, and then just make it 30 days. You work with whatever you got.
So the realtor knows that you're not actually buying the property, that you're like
I always suggest that people tell the truth when it comes to wholesaling. It's so much easier. It's not just because I'm like my sign, I'm brutally honest, so I don't have any friends. Sean, is this dress stupid? Yeah, that's dumb. You look terrible. Go take that off and go to bed for even picking that. That's me. So I'm always recommending be honest. And I'll get into, when we get to the Q&A part, remind me of that question and I'll answer you on how to answer that.
All right.
How to like not slide it in. Again, we're being honest, but there's a way to package things. Put it that way. There's a way to package how you deliver that. All right, let's go into Deal Sniper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run an entire property from start to finish. It's going to be a little slower versus how long it actually takes because I'm going to be walking, whoever this is new to, I'm going to be walking you through it. So first thing you want to do is you want to pick a market. How do you pick a market? You need a population of 500,000 people or more, ideally more. That's the market you want to pick. The more populated your area is, one, the more deals you're going to have access to. And two, the more buyers you or whoever you hire as disposition is going to have access to move your deal. I just underwrote one earlier before the training, and the property it's somewhere in Tennessee, population of 1,900. How many investors do you think are investing in that area? Not a lot. So I told that person to move. So let's see. Birmingham, cool. Now, I don't want this property because I'm going to pick something else. I'm never going to take what they just give me. So all I'm going to do is I go to Redfin. You can go to Zillow. You can use Trulia. Make sure you're signed in. It will show you more information if you're signed. It's free. Just create an account. So the only filter that I'm going to pick is right here. Time on Redfin. Zillow, they all have it. And I'm going to pick more than 90 days. So just without even zooming out, I have 191 three properties I can deal with. If I zoom out a little bit, I got 285 houses I can put offers on. And this is Birmingham. Birmingham's a great market. It's a big market. And then let's just pick, oh, that's funky. Let's pick this one. Okay. I like it. I was going to say I didn't like it. I like it. All right, so let's do some checking. First things first, how long has it been on market? 90 days. Beautiful. Second thing, I'm going to copy the address. I'm going to take it over to Deal Sniper and I'm going to paste it. Deal Sniper is going to scrub the information. It's going to bring up the deal. Now you notice it's listed for $74,000. Does it have a mortgage? I have no idea, so I'm going to pick no. And trust me, no, you don't need to find out if it has a mortgage first. Even if you have prop wire or batch leads or something like that, sometimes it has the mortgage information, sometimes it doesn't. Just say no, because if the realtor or the seller are interested in any type of creative offer, they're going to respond to you and they're going to say something along the lines of, hey, unfortunately, we can't take this offer. There's a mortgage in place. They won't just say flat out no. They will always let you know if there's a mortgage in place, even if they do it in a not a very nice way. What are we supposed to do about the mortgage that's in place? Perfect. Now it's got a mortgage. Then your response should be, my apologies. I didn't know there was a mortgage. I'll tell you what, if you can send me the approximate mortgage balance, interest rate, and monthly payment, I'll send you another offer in 15 minutes covering that mortgage also. And then you just wait. And then once you get that information, you put it into the deal machine calculator, which we'll get into.
Hey, Sean, do you do that on every one?
Which do what on everyone?
You just put no.
I always put no. Always.
I've been running them through PropStream and also X Leads to figure it out. So that's why it's taking me so long to do these, I think.
Yeah, that'll drastically slow you down. So the only time I recommend people run any numbers on anything that Deal Sniper gives you is if a realtor responds positively or says, hey, what about the mortgage? Then you can bring it over to the calculator, input the information, and then redo your offer. And I'll show you how to do that. But I always just say no, because the realtor will always tell you if there's a mortgage. And then you just say what I said, and they'll send you the mortgage information, and then you put it here. And I'll get into that. One other thing for anyone who's newer to the community, clean up your numbers. You guys will see me saying that constantly. And here's what I mean by that. So let's before I jump into that, they were listing the property for $74,000. I've been getting questions lately. Hey, Sean, Deal Sniper changed the purchase price. Yes, we are adding money to the purchase price in order to entice them to take a creative deal. Because when you're dealing with a seller finance, a subject to, a hybrid, a wrap, a land contract, anything other than cash, you're selling it to a different type of investor. You're not selling it to someone who's going to fix and flip it. You're selling it to someone who's going to do a buy and hold. That means they're going to hold the property as long as they can and get that cash flow every single month. And because of that, they don't really care how much the property is. I mean, again, in reason, we're not going to give $1 million for a $100,000 house. But yeah, within reason, you can add $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to the purchase price. And as long as the deal cash flows and the entry fee is good, the rest of the terms are good, that's a viable deal for an investor. I heard someone raise their hand. I didn't see who it was. Do you have a question about what I'm going through right now? Whoever that was?
Yeah, it was me. It was James. I
what's up,
did,
James?
but you just answered it because I've got one working right now. He's coming in. I just looked up the comps. He's coming in about 70,000 over comps, but the numbers are still looking good.
70,000 is a lot. Let's try and
I
keep
know.
that.
It's
But
quite a bit.
I mean, I'll tell you like this. Here's what I do. And a lot of people, they say, Sean, how do you do it like this and like that, the way that you do it? It's going to come with experience. That's why I always tell everyone, you don't have to know everything about creative financing or even wholesaling to start, because the biggest teacher is going to be experience. So in your situation, let's say the deal still works, right? I would be looking for certain things. If I'm giving them that much over asking, now I have to put my investor hat on and see it from their perspective. So from their perspective, because they're going to run their numbers, they're going to see how much the property is worth. They're not stupid. But so there can be things to offset that 70, like, does the property need any work? Is it turnkey? Is the cash on cash return high enough? Is there no HOA that they have to worry about? Things like that can offset a higher entry or a higher purchase price tacked on to the original purchase price, if that makes sense.
They went high on it because they're doing the foundation this week, brand new roof last year, and also fixed the AC this year too. So a lot of new stuff in there, and it looks very nice that they remodeled it. So it looks very good.
I mean, then I think you can get away with it. The only other thing that I would do, you know how our minimum is 10%?
Right.
Do your best to keep it at 12 or above.
Okay.
Because
cool.
that is $70,000, or there's going to be at least 4 or 5 years to gain that amount of equity just to be at even.
Right, for sure. Okay.
I mean, depending on the market and shit like that.
Yeah. I'll definitely show it to you anyway. Probably if I do anything crazy, but I appreciate it.
No worries. Okay, so let me go back to what I was saying. They're listing the property. They're selling it for $74,000. We're offering $81,400. So here's what I mean by cleaning up your numbers. I don't like that, and a lot of people don't. I don't even like the 81,000. Oops, that's too many zeros. So I'm just gonna even this out. 80,000. The monthly payment. This is the monthly payment going to the seller each month to pay off the seller financing amount. Well, who in the world wants $254.56? Just $250. That's fine. And then down payment, $5,698. No, just $5,000. That's it. That's what I mean by clean up your numbers, because now when a realtor or a seller looks at that, it doesn't look like a computer did it. It doesn't look like a scam. We are in the United States. Scam, emails, text messages, phone calls, AI, it's all over the place. So make it look like a person actually did it. That's what I mean by clean up your numbers. So
What is
once go ahead.
What is the difference between the purchase price and the seller finance amount?
The purchase price is the total amount that they're going to be getting by the time we're done paying it off. The seller financed amount is what we're making payments on with this number to pay that off.
Okay, and then do you usually put 0% interest rate when you sending these offers?
Always.
Okay.
And here's why. And a lot of times, I'm glad you brought that up because I've been getting that question a lot too. When a realtor says, why is this deal at 0% interest? Or, why is the payment so low? Your answer should be something along the lines of, hey, and now keep in mind, don't necessarily use my exact words, but something maybe a little more polite. But here's what you're going to say. You're going to say something along the lines of, well, the buyers that I represent are looking to cash flow. And we've already built it into the price with our over asking purchase price. That's why we offered you, and then you have to do a little math in this case. That's why we offered you $6,000 over what you were asking on a property that hasn't sold in over 90 days. That's why. Same thing with the low payment. Why is the monthly payment so low? Our buyers are looking to cash flow this property. They're going to put a tenant in it. If they can't cash flow the property, they have no incentive to buy it. It's just as simple as that.
Got it. And then, okay, I got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense.
Okay, so moving on. Once you've cleaned up your numbers, you hit that button, it goes to copy. You open up your email and you paste it into an email. Now, Sean, how do I know who I'm sending it to? You go back to the property. I see a lot of people going over here. Don't do that. Don't do start an offer. I think some of them, this thing right here, don't put anything here. Ask Redfin, don't put anything here. And the reason why is because this is going to connect you to a buyer's agent. You want the listing agent, the agent that wrote this. And that is always going to be right at the bottom, right there. Now, most times, they'll have their name, the company they work for, and either a phone number and an email address. In this case, Ben doesn't. So all I'm going to do is copy his name and his company, because I'm sure there's a lot of Ben Haydens or Hedens, however you pronounce that. Sorry, Ben. And I'm just going to paste it. Here's his profile. Well, here's the company he works for. Where's your profile, Ben? With a phone number. You're not a very good realtor if you don't have your phone number out. There we go. So here's his cell phone number. And there's his email address. Never mind. So there you go. You copy his email address. You put it into the email. You make sure you put his name here, your contact information there, and you hit send. If I were doing this without talking and without answering questions, it'd take me about 2 minutes per. It's not very hard. It does not take long. And then here's another thing I want some of your new people to understand. Here's our formula for getting these deals under contract. Here's what we've seen during all of our beta testing and even now with people actually using this for real. You're going to send out about 20 offers a day or some combination of 100 offers a week. Out of those 100, you're going to get about 5 positive responses from a realtor. Out of those 5, you'll close 2 or 3 per week. We typically shoot for at least a $10,000 assignment per deal. Even if you decide to partner with my team to JV your deal so we can sell it, or anybody else's team, our team charges 40% of the assignment. So for simple math, if it's a $10,000 assignment, you get $6,000. We pay our disposition team $4,000 for selling your deal. Times 3 every single week. That's $18,000 a week. And I'm coming out with a video series on how to dispo your own deals. It's just a long series. It takes a lot of information on how to do that. is just as encompassing as acquisitions. So you guys are going to learn how to do it on your own anyway. But in the meantime, you're going to be told, here's the point why I say this. You're going to be told no just by our very system 95% of the time. If that is something that's going to discourage you, you should not be wholesaling using Deal Sniper.
Quick question.
What's
How
that?
do you, for like the HOA, taxes, insurance,
Mhm.
total, like all that?
This right here?
Yeah, all that information, do you just leave it as what it was when you put it in the address, or?
Yeah. So the only information that I clean up when I clean up my numbers over here is only the purchase, only what the realtor sees, the purchase price, the seller finance, the down payment, the monthly payment. That's it. Anything above, below that, don't touch any of that because well, that's just an estimate. But the insurance, the taxes, if there's an HO, don't touch any of that because you'll need it to put that information into the calculator if you ever need to underwrite your deal for negotiating with the realtor.
Okay. And are you gonna go over that as well? The
Yeah, that's next.
Okay, got it. All right.
So I have a couple of questions.
Go for it.
One response that I've been getting a lot from realtors, especially older realtors, is that's not going to even. How do you expect the homeowner to accept XYZ amount of money? For example, let's say $800. How do you expect the homeowner to accept $800 and then come out of pocket for insurance and property tax? And I'm just like, my response to them to clarify is like, that's how much your seller is gonna get. I mean, how much how much your seller is gonna get in their pocket because we're already accounting for property tax and insurance, which is gonna be taken care of on the buyer side.
No. The buyer pays for the taxes and insurance once we close.
No, I'm talking about like on a monthly basis.
That's what I'm saying.
They're paying for it.
The new buyer, whoever, like, so let's use me and you, right? You're selling a house. I buy it from you, whether it's seller finance, subject to hybrid, doesn't matter. I'm paying the taxes, not you. Once we close, the house is in my name, the taxes are in my name, the insurance is in my name. Whatever money I'm giving you monthly, even if it's lower, that's pure positive cash flow. You don't have to spend a dime on that on the house anymore. You don't own it.
Right. So I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like that's because I'm at the end of the day, I'm studying the responses I'm getting based on the emails I'm sending out. And I feel like lately that's been the biggest objection. It's like a lot of people are misunderstanding where I'm coming from. They're assuming that, hey, the amount of money I'm giving you every single month or I'm offering you, that's how much you're gonna get, and then you're gonna take that money and pay the property tax and the insurance and all that.
Oh
So
yeah, no, don't say that because that's wrong.
no, I haven't been saying that.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
saying
good.
no, they're misunderstanding me when I send out my offer, right? They're thinking that, you know what I mean, that they're still gonna have to pay for the property tax and the insurance. So how do I offset that with my email when I send it out?
I mean, you can very easily put that because I know you're altering your letter anyway, right? Like you already
Yeah.
stuff. Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So it's just adding another line. Hey, just so we're on the same page, just for clarity, just for your client's understanding, however you want to word it.
Right.
With this deal at closing, my buyer, my investor, however you're wording that, will take care of all taxes and insurance from that point on.
Gotcha.
Just let them know. I mean, you can articulate it any way you want, but yeah, just let them know. No, we take care of that. This money that they're getting does not have to go towards the house. That is just theirs. Take it. Go to the casino.
Gotcha. So now another question is, I know we touched upon this topic briefly the other day or last time we had a training. Is the lease option, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with the lease option, obviously the name on the title was still the original owners until it's paid off, right?
Correct.
So for example, I had an offer that I sent out. The realtor countered me and was like, hey, look, owner doesn't want to do owner finance. She doesn't feel comfortable with that. She is open to a lease option under the terms you've given us, but you have to pay her the insurance and the property tax every single month. Would that be a favorable type of deal that can be sold off to an investor or no?
Yes, you could. But now we're looking at two different options. So If the cash on cash return still works, including that, because in a seller finance, you know, you got to factor all that in. So what I would do is I put it back into the calculator under seller finance, add that, you know, figured out what that would be monthly, or figure out what it is yearly divided by 12, and, you know, add it and see if it still cash flows, or at least the cash on cash return is, you know, 10% or more. If it doesn't work, but the payment, and again, much like the example I went over earlier, there are things that can offset that, because that's essentially a wrap deal, and those can be sold. Those can absolutely be sold, not as cleanly or not as easily as a straight seller finance, because on a lease option or a wrap, those terms are interchangeable. Everyone else, if you didn't know that, on one of those types of deals, the new buyer doesn't get the tax benefit because it's not technically in their name anymore, or at all, not yet. So to have them not get the tax breaks from owning the property is already a negative. But then on top of that, not only are you not getting the tax breaks, but you're still going to pay as if you should be getting the tax breaks. That's going to be hard to sell.
Right.
So there
And
are
then-
things that you can do to offset it. Is the property in turnkey condition? Is it beautiful? Has it been flipped already? Is the cash on cash return that good? Is the entry fee more reasonable? Are we having to cover the realtor's commission? Is it in an area that's well populated? That kind of stuff can offset some funky stuff on the term side.
Right. Okay. And now, so I have another question, right? In terms of how much commission is too much commission that it'll kill the deal? Because I've had.
Oh, you got to put in the calculator, dude.
Right. Okay. So. Okay. Yeah, well, I haven't used a new calculator, so that's probably why I haven't figured it.
I mean, if you've got the numbers for whatever deal you were about to tell me about, wait until we go to the calculator and I'll just underwrite it and I'll show you.
Okay. And then, because I've never come across, like, until recently, 5%. So in some certain states, the guy's like, "Oh yeah, well, my commission is this guy."
5%.
Yeah.
For
So I'm
like just the buyer side?
just the seller side. I'm just like, what the hell are you talking
What
about?
city?
This was Columbus, Ohio.
Ugh. All
So
right.
I was like, I made a face like when I heard that, because I'm like, I've never, like, above 3 is unheard of, at least for me, that from my experience, right? So when he was like, he agreed to 5, I'm like, okay. And so,
But he agreed to 5%, and then he's also going to represent the buyer?
so no, so
Oh my
basically,
God.
yeah, the agreement was, because
He
I
was
told him, look,
greedy.
bro, I told him 5% is too high. He's like, well, no, you don't have to worry about the 5%. The seller is going to pay it. So I'm just like, okay, like,
Well, what was the down payment? What's the purchase? Wait, is this the deal I'm going to underwrite?
no.
Oh, what's the purchase price?
Purchase price was $270,
Okay, so we're talking.
like 13.5 grand.
Oh God, what was but the down payment? So what did you give him as a down payment?
Down payment was 20, accepted 20.
All right, I mean, yeah, technically the seller can pay 13,000 and keep 7,000. I mean,
Gotcha.
as long as we don't have to pay it or our buyer doesn't have to pay it, I guess it's okay. I personally think it's highway robbery. Don't get me
Right.
wrong. I think realtors are necessary. I really do. And good realtors are worth every penny that they charge. But here's my biggest issue. Let's look at a property in Tennessee, right? Or no, we'll go back to Birmingham. Look at this property that we just did. Total purchase price, $80,000. Realtor charges 3% standard, right? They're doing a contract. They're putting it on the MLS. They're doing a little write-up. And they're doing even walkthroughs or open houses, right? Let's say they're doing the whole thing. They sell the house they make $2,400. That's their 3%. Take that same realtor and put them in Los Angeles, California. Now they're selling a house for $800,000. They're still doing the same paperwork. They're still doing the same walkthroughs. They're still doing the same write-up on the MLS. But now you're expecting me to give you 3% of $800,000 for doing it. That's where I think it's a little, that's a little off to me. Because here's the thing. If I wholesale this house in Birmingham on the screen, I'm going to shoot to make 10 grand. If that exact same house had an extra 0 at the end of the purchase price, because it's in California, I'm still shooting for 10 grand as my assignment fee.
And then I think this is like a obvious question, but I just wanted a confirmation from you. I met the opposite of the situation of like this realtor asking for 5% and him not doing shit. I came across a young realtor who just started out, like a 20-something-year-old kid, and he just started. You could tell, and he really was desperate for a deal. He went on market, found a for sale by owner, called them. He finally agreed to represent him, but this kid is only taking like 1% commission. Could we offer him like as an incentive to put that bug in the seller's ear, 2%?
Okay, so you got to be careful with how you word certain things.
Okay.
Realtors are not supposed to get kickbacks. It's illegal. They can lose their license.
Okay.
So what you and you definitely don't want to word it like, "Hey, I'll give you 2% if you push this to your seller." That's
No. So I completely understand that. I'm not. It's not more so like
oh, okay,
bribing
good.
him.
You scared
It's just
Shabby
more
twice
so.
tonight.
Yeah, just more so like he's gonna present it anyway, right? And let's say they agree to it. It's just as just like a I don't know.
Yeah,
some
here's what I
goodwill
would
or
do.
whatever.
No, I'm with you on that part. I'm 100% with you. Here's how you say it. So, hey man, you're gonna double in this deal. You'll represent me as the buyer. I'm paying 2%. That's it. That's all you do.
Gotcha.
So tell him he's gonna and double end. That's a realtor term. That means to them that translates to I'm getting both the buyer and the seller commission. So he'll get 1% from the seller, and then if he's representing you, put his commission, whatever 2% of the purchase price, into the new calculator, and whatever that is, just add it to the deal. I can't imagine it's gonna mess up the percentage by 1 or 2.
Would that be added to the additional terms, or where would that be?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
Same place where you put everything else at the bottom. Same place, like if there's a balloon, you put a balloon underneath your terms and then outline the balloon. And then if you're paying whatever percentage, buyer paying realtor commission, and then put the dollar amount.
Got you. So it'd be the flat fee of the calculated amount.
Yeah, whatever the 2%, whatever 2% of the purchase price is.
Cool.
All right.
Can you
we got
quickly explain the balloon payment or balloon? Like, what does that exactly mean again?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I had some people have their hand up for a second ago.
All right.
Chris, you still on here? Do you have your hand up? Or did you dip? Chris dipped. He's got kids. Uncle Joe, what's up, man?
Hey, brother. Look, I need you to run through a deal for me real quick, man. And I appreciate you, man, getting that other deal locked up for me.
Not a problem.
Did you get everything that you needed from me?
Yeah, I got everything I needed. So we should be good to go now. 1 second, because I'm going to go to the calculator here in a second. I just have to make sure no one has any questions about this part.
Okay. Take your time.
No worries. Adam, I think this pertains to what you were asking. So you were asking me to explain the difference between an amortization and a balloon?
Yeah.
So to make it very easy, well, actually, I should probably explain it on the calculator. Yeah, because I can actually show you guys. All right. Adam, I'm going to answer that question after I put in Joe's numbers, and it'll make sense. Let me just do a visual. Before I move on, does anyone have any questions on Deal Sniper? Okay, cool. Let's go to the calculator. It's the fun part. I like numbers. Okay. So, Joe, what kind of deal is this?
Okay, here's where I'm confused. All right,
Okay.
I got a property that's $265,000 that's been on market for 205 days. Realtor and the seller and I've been on the phone today. I initially did the deal under seller financing. Didn't realize that it had a mortgage for 192. All right,
Okay.
but Deal Sniper came back and gave me 291,500 on the property. Which is the purchase price, and then the seller finance will be 271. However, when I went back in and I was playing around with it, just trying to figure my way through this thing, I put it under Deal Sniper, and then I put in, it had a mortgage, all right, and then I put in the numbers, the mortgage balance of 192,751, and the monthly mortgage payment of 1953.
Okay.
All right, the deal popped back, and it off, and then what got me so confused because when I sent it to the, because all she wants to do is get her $1,900 a month. She wants to get out of the deal pretty much and just walk with the. She wanted to get the 1953, but she was looking at the 291. I mean the 291 that was being offered through Deal Sniper. But when I put it under the mortgage, when I put it under, I guess that's subject to when you click the mortgage in, it came back and told me to only offer her $207,000 and paying the 191. I, without giving you the address, I mean, I don't.
No. I know exactly what's going on. So for everyone, especially new people, I've been getting all kind of good questions today. Good for you guys. All right, let me refresh this really quick. Will it do it if I just refresh it? Good. Okay. So when you get to this part, if the deal is a subject to, you can do this part. If the deal is a hybrid, you cannot use Deal Sniper to underwrite it. And here's why. Deal Sniper right now, we're going to add it, but we have the calculator, so it's not a priority. Deal Sniper, when you say, yes, it has a mortgage, it automatically thinks it's a subject to. But your deal sounds like a hybrid. It sounds like it. So let's run through it, and then we'll figure out which one is which. And so for new people following along, keep this in the back of your mind. The difference between a subject to and a hybrid is on a subject to, we're paying them some money at closing, and then they're leaving, which means their purchase price is very close to their mortgage balance. And I'll show you guys in a second. On a hybrid, the reason why we do a hybrid, I'll give you an example. Let's say they have a mortgage of $100,000, but they're selling their house for $200,000. Well, we can't give them a $100,000 down payment to make it a subject to. So what we do is we give them a $20,000 down payment, max of 10%, and then we're going to seller finance the other $80,000. That's why it's a hybrid. It's a seller finance mixed with a subject to. So what were they originally selling the house for, Joe?
$265.
And what's the mortgage balance?
$192,750.
Okay. So that's right on the cusp. It depends on how well you can negotiate. What does she want out of the deal?
Well, based on what I initially offered, she thinks that she's getting the 291. You know what I'm saying? Because I presented the offer with the 291 because I put in no mortgage initially. Right. So she's thinking that we're giving her 20 grand plus what did Deal Sniper come up with?
Plus whatever the monthly payments were.
Yeah.
Okay.
And her mortgage payment is $190,1953. She wants to be out of that mortgage payment, and I think she still wants to get that that down payment is the most important thing to her. I mean, so
all right. Well, we can get. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's underwrite them both ways, and then I'll let you know which one we can do. All so, right. $193,000 is the purchase price. You said the monthly mortgage is $1,900.
Right.
What's the interest rate?
7.2.
Okay. And she wants 20, which now a lot of you guys are like, well, how are we going to give them 20? Our max is 10%, Sean. Well, this is one of those situations where, yes, it's an extra $7,000, but if I can find something to offset it, then we can give it to her. I'm all about giving sellers what they want / need in order to accomplish whatever need they have for selling that house. So if I can give someone 20, I'm going to give them 20. All right, we want to make 10. What is the rent?
$1,945.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
That is not good. Are we paying realtor commissions? I hope not.
I can back out of that. So
how much?
No.
How much?
Say no.
Well, let's underwrite it and then we'll change what we need to change. How much is she
2%.
charging? 2%. All right. So, and it was listed for 260. So let's just say $5,000. Just keep it simple. All right. So now let's put that exact same thing on this side, but this time, so this purchase price we have, she had it listed for how much? 260 what?
265.
Okay. And then this one is the one when you told her 291.
No, yeah.
Because if we have to give her the 291, it's going to be a hybrid. So 1,900 7.2. Cash same 20,000, right?
Mhm.
Okay, we want 10. And then right now, in case you guys ever want to figure out how do I know what the seller financed amount if Deal Sniper doesn't tell me, you take the total purchase price, which in this case is 291,000. You subtract the mortgage, which is 193,000, and you subtract the down payment or the cash to seller, which in this case is 20,000. Whatever number it leaves you with, like right now, it's $78,000. That's the seller financed amount. And then we have, you said 1945, and we still want 5,000. Okay. Now I can tell you right now, this deal's not going to cash flow.
Yeah, I
And
kind
the
of
reason
figured
why,
that with the rent payment,
yeah,
with that
and,
mortgage payment and that rent payment.
dude, do you remember when you asked me about that on your first deal? And look, now
Yep.
you already got it. Good for you. So for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, cash flow, cash on cash return, the whole reason why investors buy these deals, that's why. So if the cash flow isn't high enough, an investor is not going to buy it. There's no reason to. And we can tell right off the bat if the monthly obligation, meaning how much they have to pay, is $1,900, and it's only bringing in $1,945. Well, $45 a month in cash flow is not going to be enough. Doesn't mean the deal's dead. It just means we have to try and find a homestead buyer, which we're going to be tight. Let's see. All right. For those of you that didn't download the newest version, I did put it out today. I didn't do an announcement. The only thing I did was I put blue spots on these tabs so you guys know where you still need to put numbers. 1900. So this has a negative 5% cash on cash return. Now let's see what, now unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. Even if I took the realtor commission off, that's not going to make that much of a difference. All it did was affect it went from 15.23 to 15.18. So I knew the realtor commission wasn't going to be that big. The only thing that we can do is sell this to a homestead buyer. Now, here's the problem. Let's go to hybrid. Your entry percentage is good because the purchase price is more. But we still have to fill in 1900, which that's about to annihilate that. And then 7.2. And then on top of that, we have to put in an amount of money that we're going to pay the seller as well. Because on a hybrid, the end buyer, the investor, they're paying the mortgage plus the seller financing because they have to pay off the $78,000. So even if we did $250, I mean, that's bad. So again, we knew it wasn't going to work as for an investor, but now we have to look at it. We have to find a homestead buyer that can afford $2,150 a month as a mortgage payment and has $36,000 to close. What city is this in?
Texas.
Well, what city though?
Cypress.
What's the population there?
I have no idea.
Hold on a second. What's the population of Cypress, Texas?
According to zip-dash.
Oh, it's got 200. Okay. I mean, here's where the problem is for you. You have to convince them into getting 200, into us making this payment for them. They don't have to worry about that. So this 250 is all theirs every single month, but it's only $250 a month.
Right. What if we don't give her? What if I only give her $10,000?
It's not going to change the cash on cash return. The only thing that will change is the entry fee percentage.
Gotcha.
Like it'll change it. It'll probably take this down to like 12.9, but it's not going to drop it enough to make it a good deal. It would have to come down 13 points and then go back up the other way at least 10 points for it to be good for an investor.
Okay. So hypothetically, if her monthly payment, if let's say that her monthly mortgage payment was $950 a month and the rent's $1,900, then it would work.
Yeah. I mean, if it was $950 a month, we can not only give her $291. I should just make these copy over. Why don't I just make it copy over? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Well, we could give her $500 a month on top of paying the mortgage. Because the only thing that affects the cash on cash return in the most dramatic way is the monthly payment and how much, and the rent, how much it's bringing in and how much it's spending in obligation.
Right. All right. So you're saying that present it to her, but you're saying pretty much I need to just move on to the next deal then, I would assume.
I mean, it's all about where you want to spend your time. I don't like to tell people I never tell people to ignore an opportunity, but it's going to cost you time and you have to weigh it.
Yeah. It ain't worth it.
And if it's not worth it, I would respond to the realtor and say, hey, look, unfortunately, this deal doesn't cash flow for my investors. If you have any other properties listed where you think the seller will be open to terms like this, please let me know. But this one we're going to have to pass on.
All right, can you put those numbers back in there like you had them? Let me screenshot it so I shows the negative so that I can show that it doesn't work for us.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
And let her know this is only giving the seller $250 a month.
Yeah.
There you go.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man. I don't care what everybody else says about you, man. You're all right with me, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hang on.
All right. So,
Got it.
Alina?
Yes, hello?
What's going on? Give me 1 second. I got to answer Adam real quick.
Okay.
Before I
That's
forget.
fine. All good.
Okay. So, Adam, let me answer your question when it comes to amortization versus balloon. I'm just going to put a very simple example in here. We'll do 140,000, 0% interest. Yeah. Cash to seller would be $10,000. We want $10,000. And then we'll just say for sake of argument, it's 2,500. Okay. So
as you're doing that, if you don't mind, can you show us the comparison between 30-year amortization and 15-year? Because I've been getting a lot of 15-year requests, and I don't know what that means.
sure. Yeah, I'll show you right now. Actually, so I answer both questions. So what an amortization, by the way, amortization is synonymous with the word term. They mean the same thing. Term, what's the term? What's the amortization? And then separately, balloon. Balloon means something different. So amortization or term, all that means is how long we're stretching the payments out over to equal that. So in this situation, if you had to pay back $140,000 stretched out over 30 years, you would have to pay $388.89 a month every single month for 30 years, and you will total that. If we were to cut the amortization in half, you're shortening the amount of time you have to pay it back, which means your payment has to go up. Same thing if I change this to 10 years. Same thing if someone changes it to 5 years. You would have to pay this every single month for 5 years to total that. That's why we don't change the amortization or the term. Now, we are coming out with Deal Sniper is going to be identifying and recalculating every single term for every deal you guys put in. I'm just waiting for that update to roll out. It should be any day now. Where it's actually going to say in the email, this is a blank term deal. Here's what a balloon is. A balloon means, all right, we're going to pay $388.89 every single month for 30 years to get to that. But we want a balloon. Okay. Well, how much for a balloon do you want? We want 10 years. That means that you're going to pay this payment, which is stretched out over 30. The term is still 30, but you're going to pay it for 10 years. And whatever's left over, whatever the balance is of that, you're going to pay that when the balloon expires or bursts. That's why they call it a balloon. When the balloon bursts, time to pay me all my money. So in this situation, I'm going to bust out my calculator really quick. Well, I want to show you guys. No, I'm just going to bust out my calculator. You guys can pull out your calculator if you want to follow along. I'm putting in $140,000. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I'm putting in 388. I'm just going to put $388 times 12. That's $4,656 a year. Let's say it's a 10-year balloon. So we take that same number times 10, $46,560 over the course of the balloon. Now I want to take that $46,500 and I want to subtract it from the 140. That means we still owe $93,440. So when the balloon bursts, your investor, needs to pay the difference of what they owe. That's the difference between amortization and balloon. Amortization just means how long it's stretched out for. But within that period, you can insert a balloon. And the balloon means once we hit this point, pay me the rest of my money all in one shot.
So
So
does
no,
deals
don't
does it,
change this. Oh, it's a 10-year balloon. That doesn't mean you change this to 10. You always keep this at 30. All right, go ahead. What'd you
so
say?
the deal sniper, does it automatically, is it 30 years or 15 years that it calculates for the
So
term?
from what it's supposed to be 30.
Okay.
But from what I'm understanding, something in the algorithm is throwing it off because of the formula that we have to add money to the purchase price.
Okay.
So that's why we're adding in another formula to show you guys what each deal is advertising for. If a realtor asks you, what's the term? Is there a balloon? First of all, when a realtor asks you anything, can you guys do better on the down payment? Can you do higher on the monthly payment? What's the balloon? What's the term? Your response to that should be a question. Well, maybe. What did you want the balloon to be? Well, maybe. What did you want the term? What kind of term were you guys looking for? Well, maybe. How much more of a down payment were you guys wanting? Well, maybe. How much more of a monthly payment did you guys want? Because we still need to be able to cash flow this deal. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for us to buy it. Stuff like that. It should always be a question. Let them tell you what they want. But then you use this calculator to see if you can give it to them.
Okay. And then does it make more sense for a seller to have 15 or 30 years with a, like, what is more like on the seller side? Do they like a balloon payment more, or they like the longer term, or it just really just depends on the seller case
Are
by
you talking about
case?
this? Are you talking about the seller or the buyer?
Or I mean the buyer. The buyer.
The buyer would prefer no balloon. And if
No
there is a
balloon?
balloon, the
Okay.
longer the better. And here's why.
Okay.
When you guys are getting, investors want deals. So when you guys are bringing these deals to me and inadvertently to an investor through my team, an investor wants a deal. So if an investor were to go to a bank and go take out a loan on a property that they want to buy, they're going to have to put down at least 20%. They're going to get some janky ass 7.5%, 8% interest rate, and they're not going to be able to cash flow as much. But when they're getting a deal from you, let's say this deal, now they don't have to put down 20%. And if they are putting down 20%, let's say I want to go for the world. Hey, I want a $20,000 assignment fee on this one. Let's say you do go for it. Okay, but they're putting 20%. That's including the down payment. That's including the assignment fee. That's including the closing costs. When they go to the bank and put down 20%, that's not including the closing costs. That's not including realtor fee if they've got one. That's not including any of that. That's just the down payment. Also, our deals have 0% interest, which means their monthly payment is lower, which means they'll be able to cash flow more. So an investor wants to cash flow for as long as possible without having to go to a bank. And when you do a balloon, if you don't have an investor that has $93,000 cash to pay off the seller, they have to refinance the property. Well, when they refinance the property, they're going to get not a down payment, they don't have to do that, but they're going to get an interest rate. And it's going to be a janky ass 7-8%, and it's going to cut into their cash flow.
Okay. Did you also say that we should not exceed the 10% for the down payment, right? For the property? Is that
For the
I heard
down
that
payment,
earlier.
yeah.
What was that? What was that 10% rule that you said earlier? I was trying. Like you
For
said,
the cash to seller needs to be no more than 10% of the purchase price.
the cash
So
to
in this
seller.
the cash is now this is when I say that, you guys, I'm not talking about the closing costs, transaction coordinator, realtor fees, assignment fee. I'm not talking about any of that. All I'm talking about is the cash to seller, the down payment can be no more than 10% of the purchase price. So in this situation, I wouldn't give them any more than $150,000. With a subject to, it's a little different because sometimes you come across a subject to, and let's say it's a pre-foreclosure, and they have arrears. Arrears means that's their how many months or much money they're behind. Sometimes the math doesn't work out. They could be 30 grand behind and only have a $100,000 mortgage. Well, now if we got to give that 30 grand is the down payment. That is the cash to seller, and it's obviously going to be more than 10%. So again, other factors will play when it comes to situations like that. Is the property in really good shape? Is it in a well-populated area? Is the cash on cash return good? Some way for us to justify giving them more money. But on a straight seller finance, yeah, you're gonna do You're going to do no more than 10%.
So Sean,
Okay.
I have a quick question on,
What's up?
yeah, on the one that I texted you on earlier. It's kind of in that situation. I dealt with this realtor about a month ago, and she just said there's no way. And then over the time, I keep texting these people, emailing them, and she got back to me several times, and she really wants to do this deal because she knows the people and they're going through a divorce. So in this particular case, it's a $250,000 house. House is in great condition. It's in Wisconsin, in a very busy area, a very nice looking house and everything. In doing this deal, at first, I looked at PropStream. I didn't see anything on it, so I just did a regular deal on it for them owner financing it.
Right.
Then when they got back with me, they told me they owed $169,416. That's the payment. That's what's owed, the balance.
Okay.
At a 3%.
Okay.
Their payments are $781.86.
Hold on a second. What are they selling the house for originally? What were they selling?
$250,000.
And the mortgage was 160?
$169,416.
Okay, so that's
This
gonna
is
be a
before I started understanding that you could do a hybrid. So I was
Gotcha.
really racking my brain on this one.
Okay, you said the monthly payment was how much? 700 what?
781.86 PITI.
Okay, and you said the interest rate was 3?
3%.
All right. And he said, give me the total purchase price you gave them again. That Deal Sniper gave them. Not
So when I did Deal Sniper, it was up around, it was in the high 260s, low 270s, something like that.
Okay.
So then when I found out it had this dollar amount, I'm 65 years old, so I've done this a long time, but I didn't really know how to go back in and try to do, have them carry a note or something. That's what I thought I would do. So I'm talking to them. I just started asking a lot of questions. Like, what do they need? What do they need? They're going through divorce. They need 10 grand each to move. They need this,
Okay.
they need that. So I started getting all the information. So when I tried to calculate it up, I came up with the idea that they would carry a $70,000 note back, $69,000.
Okay.
That would allow me to give $36,500 down, but that's more than 10%.
Right.
But that's what the
why
realtor was
36?
pushing me to do.
Why 36? If they each need 10, that's 20.
That covers the realtor and it covers some other little bullshit stuff they had. Excuse my French.
No, but dude, come on.
But that was the
Excuse me.
numbers. That was the numbers they gave me when we talked. Then I threw in the balloon. I said, well, we need at least a 7-year balloon because they wanted it done in 5. I said, no, we can't do that. Minimum would be 7. But
What is
on
this
the
place-
70,000, on the $69,000 note, there's no interest.
Right.
So that's where I'm at right now. But if I did it, in my mind, I ran through it a bunch of ways. I could pay the $781 and I could add $500 to that and be paying $500 interest free to them monthly. What they really care about the most is cash up front. They don't really care about anything else, even though they're doing the note.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see. What does it rent for?
I'm having a hard time finding rent on it unless you
It's on
use
Deal
a different
Sniper.
site. The sites I use, they don't show a rent on it.
No, Deal Sniper will tell you what it will rent for.
Okay, hold on. Let's go back to Deal Sniper. I have it pulled up. Let's look.
It's if you hit down here,
Yeah, I
have
have
a
it here.
mortgage. No.
I have it
And
up
then-
on Deal Sniper now. So it says,
Oh, monthly. No, estimated rent. That's what it is. That's what I need.
I'm trying to find it. I see property types estimate, bedroom, property,
Oh no, scroll down.
time on market.
No, down like a lot. Can you see my
Oh, a
screen?
lot. Okay.
So scroll down and
Estimated
see
rent 2237.
There you go. All right, let's see. 2237. That's not bad. Okay. And you're saying that this 36,000 includes the realtor commission and whatever other else they
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
Okay.
36.5 is what, that's how I had the offer. They want to sign it. And I'm like, let's, and then she says, can you go back? I know you put a lot of time into this. Can you go back and make sure that's absolutely the most you can give? And I thought, when I talked to you, I said, you know what, let me run this through you guys and just make sure I'm thinking right on this one.
So as it stands right now, your entry fee is a little high. It's
Yeah.
a little high.
Yeah.
But it's still, as long as this number is under 20%, you're good. I mean, technically, does the property need a lot of work, or is it in
No.
good shape?
No. And I don't care on this one. I'm going to give you the physical address.
No, don't. I don't need the physical address. Or you can always DM it to me, and I can look it up on another screen.
I'll do that. I'm looking at it online right now, and I'm looking at the email she sent me earlier. It's got a new roof. It's got some new stuff. They put some new stuff on it. It's in Wisconsin, but it's a 2-story, really
What
nice
city is it
condition. Lodi,
I don't know where that is.
53555 zip code.
Okay. I mean, the deal works. Here's the only thing. I mean, it works. It's high. I don't ever like it to be that high.
Yeah.
But I mean, even if we cut this down to 8, which I mean, that's the only thing we can really mess with. I mean, I think you could. I think we can move this. Here's my only concern, my one and only concern, and I would set the proper expectation with the realtor. What's the city again?
Lodi, Lodi.
What's the population of Lodi, Wisconsin? So the population's only 3,200.
Low population.
So you have a deal that for an investor, I mean, it's still like when you told me that it rents for 22, that's really good. This must be a ritzy part of Wisconsin, which I didn't even know that was a thing. You've got a really good deal for an investor. I just don't know how many investors we personally have in that market because it's so small. So I still say go. That's my personality. Go for it. I'm always going to go for it. So I would say let's do it, but set the proper expectation. You want to tell the realtor, look, the deal is really good. And I do have a few investors in this area, but with the lower population and the higher entry fee, typically we like to stay, and you can always just say, we like to be under 15%, whatever. So give me 2 weeks. I'm going to push it to my investors. I'll do everything I can to get one of them to pull on it. If they don't, hey, you're in the exact same spot you are right now, but I'll give it everything I've got and lock it up, and we'll try it. And I'll give you the dispo material. You can try it too. I mean, we'll try it. It's free to try. Shit, let's do it.
Yeah, well, you see where my mix-up was coming from, trying to go between the difference from the sub 2 and the other. I knew there was such a gap there, I'd have to have them carry paper or something.
Yeah, no, you're thinking of it was right. It's just, it seems like you just didn't realize that this is where you do it.
Yeah, I sent you the address too, just so you know.
Okay, I'll take a look at it. Yeah, I still say go. I mean, the interest rate is good. The cash on cash return is good. Even if you kept this at $10,000, it's under 20. What is it, like 18.2? Yeah, I mean, it's the cash on cash return. I mean, this is a really good deal. If this deal were in Milwaukee, I could call 2 people right now and they'd fight over it. But
well, the other thing is that I work with this lady. I actually wrote the deal up for her on her contract.
Mm-hmm.
And then she took it to, initially she took it to their attorney. That's how Wisconsin does. And she says, well, the attorney just thinks it's not okay to do and stuff. But over time, she kept looking at it, kept thinking about it. She called me back and she sent me 3 or 4 other ones I'm looking at that look solid too. So my thought is if I could get this one done, even though it might be marginal on what I make on it, I may be locking her up in some of these other ones too.
Yeah, no, I say go for it. Just set the proper expectation. Just say, hey, look, population small. We're used to Milwaukee's, Madison's, Green Bay's. Hell, even I know a buyer. By the way, if you guys ever want to hunt for a deal, do a little reverse wholesaling, there's a buyer that I know in Appleton and Menasha, something like that. I'll put it in the chat. Anyway, he's looking for a creative deal, like chomping at the bit to get one. So, I mean, it's possible because Menasha, from what I understand, that's not a big place. I think Appleton is, but that other place is not. So it's doable. Just set the proper expectation. Just let them know, hey, we'll do whatever we can. We'll give it 2 weeks. If we find someone, awesome. We'll get everybody paid. If not, you know, you're literally in the exact same situation you are right now. But we'll do the best we can.
Yeah, I've kept everything under 10% on all of them, and this one I'm looking at, I'm way the hell over 10%, and that was the only thing I wasn't sure if I could pull that off.
Yeah. This deal, again, it's tight. It's real close to 20, but technically under 20 works. So I say go for it.
Okay, great. Okay, thanks.
No problem. Does anyone have? Oh, wait a minute. I was supposed to answer. Alina, are you still on here? I know you didn't have a lot of time. No, I think she bounced. All right. Well, maybe she'll hop back in. If not, just DM me. Does anyone have any questions on creative financing or the calculator? Awesome. Okay. So what was next? Let's talk about where to get deals from. So first and foremost, well, you know what?
Hey, Sean, I got one more question for you, if you don't mind.
Go for it. I got to set this up anyway.
Okay. I signed this one off earlier. I just want to make sure, just second thoughts on it.
Okay.
I don't have a list down here on this. I'll have to find it, but purchase price was $348,500.
Hold up. Wait, is this a seller finance?
This is a sub 2.
Okay. Wait, the purchase price was $348,000?
Yeah, the one I went with was $348,500. That was my purchase price, the actual offer.
Okay, and what is the mortgage balance?
Mortgage balance is $318,537.
Yep, that's going to be a sub 2. What's the PITI?
Let me pull it up real quick because okay. So I've got it here I got 3 different screens I work. So let me just copy it and put it over here.
Do your thing.
And take me 2 seconds. This one was a guy that told me that he was pretty rude when he got back with me Saturdays. It's in Houston. And then after we talked, let's see, he was back and forth with me today, and we just did the deal a while ago. It has it's a 3% note. I'm trying to find the PIT. I don't see it on here, although I did run it earlier. Let's see. Oh, wait a second. Right here. Okay. I take it back. This one's different. It's a 6%. It's a 6.3%.
Okay.
He owes $318,537.
Okay.
And his payments are $2,600 PITI.
All right. And what does it rent for?
This one rents for $2,950.
Ooh, that's tight.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
How much does he want, or how much are we giving him as a down payment?
Well, the list on it was $330, and we're giving him $348,500.
No. What's the cash to seller? What's the down payment?
Down payment's $30,000.
Okay, that's fine.
That includes realtor fees.
Really? Good for
Yeah.
you. Okay. So
30,000 in, 318,537 would pick up with payments of 2,600.
2,600.
And it's in a nicer area of Houston.
Damn.
2,464 square feet, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath.
Your entry fee is real good, obviously, but your cash on cash return is 1.4%.
Yeah.
The only person who would buy this would be a homestead buyer. What city did you say it was in?
This is in Houston. It's a 77028, Harris County.
I mean, you might. The interest rate's a little high, but $2,600 is $2,600. Then I'm assuming the house is in good shape.
The house looks like new.
I mean, again, you got to set the proper expectation. Let them know. We typically deal with investors. We do have a very small community of people who want to buy the home this way in order to live in it. We can try. Give us 2 weeks. And if you guys ever want to show a realtor what you're talking about, send them a screenshot of that if the deal doesn't work. Not the whole thing, obviously, because there's assignment fee and but just this box here, and let them know, look at the cash on cash return. Like I can't do it this way to an investor. And by extension, no investor can do this. It's a sub 2 deal. We can't change the rent. The rent is what it is, and so is the mortgage payment.
I just sent you the address on that one too, Sean. I talked to, when I was talking to everybody the last week or so, I've been working that area pretty heavy. I've got 4 people interested in a sub 2 in that area. So I'm trying to build up a buyer's list. So that's what I was going to do. I was going to start hitting that, but my buyer's list is really small right now.
I mean, again, I'm always going to say, if there's even one way, if there's a 1% chance to get it done, go for it. Especially if it's free. It's free. If they agree to it, it's going to cost you the 5 minutes it takes to send them a contract.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. No, these are sub 2. Unless you know how to do those, I send those out. So it just costs you your time to talk to them and get the deal locked up. After that, you will have to fill out the disposition form. That'll take about 5-10 minutes if you want us to push it. And that's it. After that, it's out of your hands. You're working on another deal. So if there's a will and there's a way, I say go for it. Just set the proper expectations so they're not pissed off at you. Well, you said you were going to buy. No, what I said was I usually deal with investors. Your property doesn't cash flow. So I told you I would try and push it to my homestead buyers. I don't have any homestead buyers that want the property. There's nothing I can do about that.
Right.
That's why I say set the proper expectation, just so they don't get mad at you if we get to a situation where we can't close it.
Yeah. So these deals, these 2 here are borderline, but they're still decent.
Yeah. I mean, there's a way to move each one of them. They've both got some issues. The first one issue is it's like in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin. And the other one, this one, it doesn't cash flow. So we can only push it to someone who would want to live in it, not invest in it.
An end user. Yeah. Okay.
So regarding to tenants and people living in those properties that we're trying to sell, for example, going back to that portfolio I told you, out of 10, maybe 3 or 4 have tenants inside of them. How do investors feel like the ones that we're trying to sell these deals to? How do they feel about having tenants inside the property? Or is it something that we're trying to emphasize to the realtor that this property we're trying to acquire needs to be delivered like vacant?
No, a lot of times it depends. Here's where you can almost guarantee, and not that you guys have to have that conversation without us telling you first. And again, I'm talking about my disposition team. The buyers will tell you. They'll ask if you're dispoing the deal yourself and you have a buyer that's interested in your property and they ask you, hey, I'm into this deal. I like it. Can it be delivered vacant? That's when you have the conversation with the realtor. Hey, we got someone who's ready to go, but they want the property vacant at closing or very close to after closing. What's the likelihood that your seller can get that going? And then you have to also check, because here's the thing. You don't want to say something like that to the seller or the realtor until you vet out that buyer. So you need to talk to the buyer first and be like, yep, I'm pretty sure I can get it delivered vacant, but I don't want to have that conversation with the realtor or with the owner unless I'm sure that you're ready to go. So let's have you walk the property first. Let's see your proof of funds, and let's make sure that you really want to close on this thing. If that's the case, then yeah, we'll see what we can do about getting it delivered empty. That's how you typically want to handle something like that.
So there's something that is very specific that you said earlier in the chat that I keep thinking about it. You said you're going to show us how to do dispo and do the material and do all that, but you said it's going to be very similar to us acquiring a property, just like acquisitions. We're going to hear no most of the time. Why would investors be opposed to? Obviously, like it depends, obviously, but why would most be opposed to a property that's cash flowing to make them money?
No. Sorry, maybe I misspoke or you misheard me. Let me rephrase. They're always going to want to haggle with you. They're still going to want a deal. They're not closers like you guys, or else they would do like me and go get their own properties. You know what I mean? I can close a seller just like you guys can. So if I ever want to save myself a $10,000 assignment fee, I can go get it myself. Most investors can't do that, but they're still going to haggle with you on the price. That's why when we push your deals out, or when you guys push your deals out, let's say you want to make a $10,000 assignment, push it out for $25,000. Let an investor talk you down, quote unquote, talk you down to $10,000 or $15,000. They feel like they won. You got what you originally wanted anyway. We do the exact same thing. So it's not that they wouldn't want it. A flipper probably won't want a creative deal. They want a house that's jacked up. You guys aren't looking for houses that are jacked up. We can do it, but you're not looking for them. You're looking for houses that have already either been flipped or good enough to sell in their current condition. So a flipper wouldn't want a creative financing deal for the most part, unless you get a slamming deal on like a pre-foreclosure that's jacked up and needs a bunch of work and has a double purchase price ARV or something like that. Then yeah, maybe they'll buy it.
I'm in a particular situation where I am negotiating with the homeowner directly, and we're bypassing the realtor, because he just doesn't want the realtor to talk. I guess, I don't know.
Okay.
And so the homeowner is like, well, he's low-key shady, and he's trying to hack.
Hey, what do you mean he's shady?
He's shady because he doesn't want to pay his realtor the commission. He's
trying to backdoor. Okay.
he's trying. It's that 5% guy I told you. So he just like,
shit. Well, yeah, maybe you
Yeah.
should. How long has that property been listed, by the way?
like 200 days or something like
Man,
that.
tell that five man. All right, go ahead. Your realtor's not, or your seller's not shady. He's smart. Go ahead.
Got you. So basically, he's just like trying to find a way just to get himself out of it, I guess, whatever the case may be. I'm not trying to get involved in the middle of that because I know that's gonna get bloody real quick when it comes to closing. How do I separate myself away from the situation? Is there anything I write in the contract, or is it just I'm good regardless because it's an agreement between them?
How did you get talking to the seller in the first place?
So talking to the realtor,
Mhm.
I'm telling him, hey, this is my offer. These are the terms. We're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then he's like, I don't think he just kept annoying me. He's like, I don't think the seller is gonna like this. I'm like, let me speak to him then. He's like, okay, I'll make the introduction because the guy's overseas. So he thought like I wouldn't understand the guy because he speaks Arabic. Luckily, it's my second language. I can speak it.
Let's go.
So immediately he got me in connection with him through WhatsApp. Me and him started talking, and that's when I found out he's trying to let this guy go.
You know what? Most real estate contracts between a seller and the listing agent is about 90 days. So we're talking over 6 months. I don't blame the seller. And as far as I'd like to think that I'm a pretty moral person. If I see something that's wrong, whether it's illegal or not, I'm going to do it anyway. If I see something that needs to be done right, you know what I mean? It's not legal for me to hit a guy if he's hitting his girlfriend in front of me. I'm going to do it anyway because in my mind, I think that's the right thing to do. In my mind, with my moral compass, I think you're clear. You didn't do anything. You said put me in contact with the guy. He put you in contact with him. He has failed to sell the property on his own, and the contract is between the seller and the realtor, not between the realtor and you. So I think you're clear. It's the seller's the owner of the house. If the realtor is going to come after it, now here's the thing. The realtor's not going to like wholesalers very much after this. But, you can't please everybody. Your main responsibility is to the seller because they're the one who owns the house. So if you can get them what they want in a deal that you can sell, I say go for it. That's between him and the realtor. That's not between us. Nothing to do with you. Nothing. And I'm pretty strict.
Understood.
Okay, let's go. Wait, does anyone else have a question on creative financing or the calculator? Because I'm going to go on to different territories that you guys should target. All right.
Wait, where is this calculator, by the way?
It's in the Discord in the calculators channel.
Okay, all right.
Oh, and when you guys click on the link, don't request access to it because that'll give you guys access to mine. Just go to the top corner in the left, hit file, drop down will pop down, click make copy, and then name it whatever you want, and then save it. Then you can use the calculator freely. All right. So all I did was Google search the top cities in the United States, and there you go. Now, I'm going to tell you guys which one of these you should stay away from. And if I can articulate why without being too vulgar, I will. New York City. New York City is a different animal. When you're wholesaling, and you can do it, to my knowledge, there's no law against wholesaling like in South Carolina. But in New York City, for every transaction, you have to have a lawyer involved. Sometimes the title company can direct you to one. Sometimes you have to pay for it yourself, or not pay for it yourself, find one yourself, and then figure out what those closing costs are, and then add it to your disposition materials so the buyer knows what they're getting into. So that's the only issue with New York. And I think New York is a non-disclosure state, but again, Deal Sniper will scrub it anyway, doesn't matter. California. I wouldn't wholesale in California for the exact same reason of earlier. You need to have your properties. The least expensive the property is, the bigger the pool you'll have of buyers that can do that down payment, that closing costs, the assignment fee, and even the realtor fee. Because 20% of a $100,000 house, that's only 20 grand. You're in California, add a zero, now we're at $200,000. There's not a whole lot of buyers who can drop $200,000 cash on a property in California. Now, if you're somewhere, don't take this and run with it. But if you're, let's say you want to create a niche for yourself, and you're like, I want to find short-term rental buyers and short-term rental properties. Okay, close to Disneyland, Magic Mountain, Six Flags, Buena Park. What's the name of that other city? Not Ontario, but Ontario's a good one too. What is the name of that other city? There's Buena Park and there's Beverly Hills. That's not the one I was thinking of, but that's another one. Same thing if you're in Florida. If you're going to do short-term rentals, close to the beach. Closer to the beach, the more it's going to be a short-term rental hotspot. Short-term rental is like an Airbnb, if you guys don't know what that is. Chicago. Here's the issue with Chicago. If you live in Illinois and you want to market there, you know that area, go for it. If you don't, here's what I found out the hard way about marketing in Illinois. It's block by block, nice and ghetto. So what does that mean? That means that on 110th Street North, 2 blocks up, those houses are $700,000. They're beautiful properties. The area is good. There's not a piece of trash on the floor. 2 blocks the other way, there was 9 shootings yesterday. So a lot of investors don't want to invest in ghetto war zone areas. They will. You'll have a better chance of finding buyers to invest in those areas if it's a Section 8, because that's guaranteed rent. Other than that, just be very careful what neighborhood you're in. Houston, fantastic. Phoenix, fantastic. Philadelphia is good. San Antonio's good. I mean, if you got a house that's a block away from the San Diego Zoo that works as a short-term rental, other than that, I wouldn't do it. Dallas and Austin are good. Jacksonville is phenomenal. San Jose, same situation. If you're near, and by near, I mean within 2 or 3 miles of a major attraction in that area, you can go for it. Other than that, leave California alone. Dallas, Fort Worth, that's good. Columbus, I've heard is very, very hot right now for my disposition team.
Shout out to Columbus.
Yeah, apparently we've got a shit ton of buyers there. I just found out like an hour and a half ago. So that's fantastic. Charlotte, North Carolina, same thing. Indianapolis is good. San Francisco, again, if you can't see the Golden Gate Bridge from outside your window, I don't know if I would mess with it. Washington, not so much. I think the deals are good there. I think there are good investors there. It's just kind of hit or miss. I don't know why. Denver, Colorado, same thing. It's a good market. It's a real good market. Real good for short-term rentals, real good for long-term rentals, but because of the weather, it's a little on buyers. Oklahoma City is good. Nashville is good. El Paso is good. Same thing with Washington, D.C. It's hit or miss. Vegas is really good for short-term rentals only. And then Boston, I don't think I've ever closed a deal or moved a deal in Boston. That doesn't mean my Dispo team can't do it. My Dispo team can do anything. And that's it. I mean, those are the areas. 500,000 population or more, this caps at 675 as a minimum. So any city on this list that I said was good, go for it. Here's another thing. A lot of people tell me, well, Sean, the bigger the population, it's going to be more wholesalers that I'm competing with. If your property is on market for over 90 days, you're probably good. Not to mention, most wholesalers are doing cash deals. And the ones that are doing creative deals, most of them don't have Deal Sniper because Deal Sniper is brand new. It's only like 6-7 weeks old. And there's what, 150 of you guys? Not including the ones that are on my team that are in the community that don't count. You guys aren't going to have competition. Just go for it. Because the bigger the market, the more buyers you've got. The more buyers you've got, the better chance you're getting of getting your assignment fee and then some, or at least having a lot of interest in your deal. The more eyes that see it, that can buy it, the more people are going to want it. Does anyone have any questions over the list I just went through or the explanations? Okay, cool. So now we're at the last part of the training. Open forum Q&A. You guys, do you have any questions that you want me to answer? Something I went over, it didn't go over, it doesn't matter. Anything at all. Let them fly.
Can you explain, like, when you say you're my Dispo team, is it like, do you have like a team of buyers that we could send deals to and then we split 60-40 like you said earlier?
So the way that it works is JVing. So once you have a deal under contract, you JV it with someone that has a list of buyers or a disposition team. So I have two. I have an acquisitions team and I have a disposition team. So my disposition team, all they do all day long is push all of our deals, whoever's deals that we're working on, to our in-house buyers. Then we also communicate with all of the people. We have an investor lift account that's like $7,000 a month that we utilize. We have an investor base account that's about $6,000 a month. We utilize that. Plus we've got about, I don't know, 7,000 or 8,000 in-house buyers of people that we've done multiple deals with before. We know exactly what they want, what areas, where they're looking for. And we push them to them anytime we have a deal in their area that fits what they want. It's called their buy box.
Do you have people in Minnesota by chance?
I don't know that one particular off the top of my head, but
Okay.
hit me up in the morning. I'll talk to my disposition. I have a meeting with my disposition team in the morning. I'll ask them.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's all good. And here's the other thing too. If we like in what did I say? El Paso? No, it wasn't El Paso. Was it Nashville? One of those. We don't have a ton of buyers there. Oh, it was Boston. Never done a deal there. Never moved a deal there. My Dispo team, that doesn't mean we can't move a deal in Boston. We just do the exact same process that we've done in the cities that we are good in. And we build a buyer's list for Boston in particular, especially if we've got someone in the community that's sending us deals from Boston. We'll just create a buyer's list and make it happen.
And then another quick question. So I was used to be doing cash deals. So it's like my first time I got to do creative finance.
How is it?
The cash deals?
No, they're creative.
Creative? No, I haven't. Like, this is like literally, I'm just getting into
I know. How are you feeling about it? How's it feel?
I am a little, it's going to take me time to learn, with the numbers and everything. But I'm actually grateful that I kind of joined this training session because I feel like before I joined this, I was a lot more confused. So now I kind of think I got the hang of it. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to start sending out a bunch of offers to realtors.
Good. Just don't forget to clean up your numbers. And just remember.
But one thing I noticed is I'll clean up the numbers. I was watching a YouTube video. One thing I noticed is the assignment fees are a lot smaller usually than like a cash deal. Like cash deals, I was sometimes getting 20, 25, up to 50. What I'm seeing is a lot of like 10, 15, 5. So I don't know. That's like just how creative finance is. So it's just a lot more quantity, but less like per deal, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but
no, yeah, that makes sense. Hold on one second. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. We're doing a lot of volume. Plus, we shoot for at least a $10,000 assignment per every deal. Okay. But we can always go higher as long as the as long as the terms allow it. See, for cash deals, you're working on a very different formula that creates a lot more wiggle room for you to charge more. Plus, it also depends on what the investor's going to do with it. Some investors are top tier investors where they're going to put top of the line fixtures and materials in the property to get the most out of it. Some investors are going to put exactly what they need to get to or need to put in it in order to get what they want to get out of it. So it all depends. But yeah, we're definitely looking at more of a volume game.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. A lot of volume with the creative finance. So
like for example, how many deals, if you don't mind me asking, how many deals on average were you doing a month as cash?
I kind of recently just started about a couple months ago. So like I was doing like,
well, what was your best month? We'll put it that way.
Best month, yeah. Best month, I think I did like 4, so like one a week.
And so roughly. We're looking at 2 to 3 a week.
Here. Okay, yeah. See, that's the thing but then the thing is those 4 were like a lot bigger, like assignment fees, if that makes sense, you know? So
yeah, there's definitely more wiggle room in it within reason. It all depends on how jacked up the house is. With this one, if you can negotiate a lower down payment, all of that is, and no closing costs. I'm sorry, not no closing costs, no realtor commissions. Then yeah, you can charge $30,000 on most properties as an assignment.
Do you even charge no realtor fee if you're dealing with a realtor? Like, is that even possible? I don't think that's.
Oh, it's possible. You can make it. You can negotiate it to where the seller is still paying the realtor's commission, regardless of what it is. The reason why we put realtor fees in is again volume. We want to make the deal such a no-brainer. Look, Mr. Realtor, look, Mr. Seller, the property's been listed for X amount of days, usually over 90. Property's been listed for 90 days. No one's giving you what you want. They're not going to. Are you tired of getting lowball offers from people, cash offers? They always say yes. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you $25,000 over what you're asking. I'm going to give you $10,000 as a down payment. I'm going to give you X amount of dollars as a monthly payment. We'll get you paid off in 15 years. And on top of that, realtor, I'll even cover, you want to double in this deal? I'll cover my end of the closing cost for you. You can double end it. I don't care. How much do you think that realtor is going to push that deal? They're going to push that deal a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I can say that to someone 15 times a week.
Okay.
And if I'm making a minimum of 10 grand per, that's a lot of money. It's just a different way of doing it. But if you've got the knowledge to do both, you can always do cash deals on off market and then spend 2 hours a day sending out 20 offers for creative deals. That's all.
And this is, I think, and this is also a lot more flexible to do virtual, like outside of your own like market. Sounds like it's a lot easier to just go into like a random city and start sending out a bunch of offers to houses that are listed. But then I feel like I don't have the connections of buyers, for example, because I live in the state of Minnesota. So I was like, if I try to wholesale in Columbus, for example, I'm not gonna have a set of buyers or people to take my deal compared to like if I get one in my state. It's a lot easier because I already have some connections with some investors. So, and you said that you have a team that I could probably just JV and then get those deals done, correct?
Absolutely. And here's something too that I always recommend, and I'm not I'm not shitting on like gurus or anybody in particular. I don't follow a whole lot of gurus. But not only will we JV your deal for you, but we're going to give you the marketing material too. And I'm going to tell you what to do with it. Now, you're not going to be able to put it on some of the expensive platforms that we pay for. You're not going to be able to use our in-house buyers. That's what my Dispo team is for. But I will tell you where and how to post that deal. So that way, if it's in a different market than what you're used to, it's not in Minnesota, let's say it's in Texas somewhere, then you can start building your buyers list in Texas just from people who are reaching out to you via the deal.
Yeah, that's kind of why
if you find a buyer yourself, well, let's say my team's dispoing the deal and I'm like, hey, Adam, here's the dispo material, post it here, here, and here, say this, this, and this. And you find a buyer, well, then, yeah, you just keep 100% of the deal. Good job. Like, the only time you pay my team is if we actually find the buyer for you. But I'm going to teach you how to do that. And it's easier to teach when you're working on an actual deal, because then I can tell you, okay, they said this, say this. When they say this, say this. it's easier for me to respond to what people say to you guys rather than predict what they're going to say.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll teach you guys how to do that. But in the meantime, if you don't end up selling your deal, let's say you're busy or, it's whatever reason, I don't know. My team's also pushing the deal and we're going to try and get you paid.
And you just reminded me. Say like we can't find a buyer for the deal. When I was doing cash, we had like an inspection clause that says that if you guys fail the inspection, we could pull out. So how does that work with creative finance? How if say we can't find an investor that during the closing date that we gave the realtors like 30 days, and say we can't find someone that wants to buy the property, how do we kind of backtrack? Like how does that work exactly?
Same way.
Well?
Exact same way. We have the same clause in our contract. Our cash contract is the same as most other people's cash contract, and our cash contract is the same as a creative contract, with the exception of subject to or a hybrid. There's different there's different forms and amendments that need to be in a subject to or anytime there's a mortgage. So that's why I send those out for you guys, because you guys don't have access to those. But any cash contract that you guys have, as long as there's an additional terms section that's blank and you can put stuff in, once you put terms in there, it now becomes a seller finance contract.
Got it.
Does anyone else have another question? Going once? Going twice? Okay.
I'll see one more. So I just joined the Discord today, so like
I'm
yeah, I'm asking a lot of questions. I just joined the Discord today, so how because you said you answered to DMs and stuff and all that, so I'm wondering like how kind of active you are in the Discords. And you also mentioned earlier that you're like in 3 different Discords, so I'm assuming that's a lot of messages that you probably get every day about people having questions and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering like how, like when is like the time during the day is like you're probably on Discord a lot where you answer questions, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, that makes sense.
When are you active in the Discord a lot? Usually that's what I'm
all day,
asking.
all night.
All day, all night. Okay.
I don't sleep very much now. I will usually, I don't know. It depends on how bored I am. If I have something to do, or if I'm super bored, like it gets quiet for like an hour in the Discord, then yeah, I'll sign off at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. But if the Discord is jumping and I'm not already doing something else, then yeah, I'm in the Discord like 24 hours a day.
Okay.
And I'm sure Joe, Leslie, and a few other people on here can, Rami, you could back me up too. How many times I answer questions? Like if I need to answer
I talk to you more
yeah.
than I talk to my parents, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here to help you guys. That's literally why I'm here.
All right, I'll definitely use that to my advantage. It's definitely start hopefully sending you DMs about, because I'm still like I kind of just want to learn, because like
don't do that.
Don't do what?
Don't do that. You need to just do it.
That's why I am.
You told me tomorrow morning you're gonna start sending out offers. Now you're telling me you need to learn some shit first. Just do it.
Yeah. Okay, let me reword. I meant like I am gonna send my offers, but I'm saying like once like people hit me back, right?
Just post it in the main chat. Usually you can either retype it if you want. Most people just send a screenshot.
Okay.
And I would block out the address, if you can see it. I mean, anyone on my team, they know we don't do any of that Game of Thrones backstabbing shit. Like I'll take you out. Like I don't play that. But I don't know where all you guys live yet. So, I can't threaten you guys. But yeah, don't post the address. But yeah, just shoot a screenshot. Most people do that. Sean, how do I respond? And eventually, you're going to get the same responses 4 or 5 times, and they're just going to be worded slightly different, and then you'll know what to say.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, it's going to probably take me a couple of responses back to kind of get the hang of things, of how to respond in the right way.
Yeah, that's all good. Just post it in the chat.
All right. Sounds good.
Anybody else have any more questions?
Have a good night, sir. Thank you so much.
Not a problem, dude. You guys have a great night. It was wonderful speaking with you. This will, like I said, be recorded and posted on the YouTube channel probably tomorrow morning at some time. So if anyone wants a copy of it, just shoot me a message and I'll give you a link. Otherwise, it'll just be on the channel. You guys have a great night. I'll talk to you later.